like to call the school board meeting to order, and we will start with the salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Crum, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Banis-Clemens. Mrs. Cullen. Here. Mrs. Dolan. Here. Ms. Kildare. Here. Mr. Kraus.
Here.
Mrs. Miller. Here. Mrs. Walters. Here. Mrs. Yardley.
Here.
Dr. Yarnell.
Here.
All right, we will start the meeting with student staff recognition.
Okay, good evening, everyone. You probably hear some jingling here. Very appropriate recognition we have tonight in light of the fact that we just finished the Olympics this year. But I have the pleasure of introducing you to 12th grader Amber Borowski, 10th grader Anna Dorneman, and 8th grader Claire Mundell. These three young ladies just returned from Portland, Oregon, where they took 11th place in the country in synchronized skating. Amber, Anna, and Claire are members of the Philadelphia Symmetry Novice Synchronized Skating Team. In case you are not aware, synchronized skating celebrated its 60th anniversary as a sport last year. Teams are comprised of between 12 and 20 girls, all skating in unison for up to 4.5 minutes, depending on their level. It is characterized by teamwork, speed, intricate formations, and challenging step sequences. To reach this level, the girls had to pass several United States Figure Skating Association tests and earn a place through tryouts. They have practices 3 times a week in addition to their private lessons, both individual and ice dance, and are expected to put in a 3-to-1 ratio of their own practice, 3 hours for every hour of lesson time. In addition, they do off-ice training and work with private trainers to keep their fitness levels up. They had to earn their spot at nationals by qualifying at Eastern sectional competition. Only 6 teams from the East Coast made it to nationals. Not only are these young ladies excellent at their sport, they are also outstanding students. Claire is in the gifted program, symphonic band, reading Olympiads, and Odyssey of the Mind since 2nd grade. She will be in all honors classes next year when she enters high school. Amber is taking all honors and AP courses and is a member of the concert choir. Anna is an honor student, a member of the orchestra, strings club, key club, and part of the Pennridge Pals, where she works with the special needs students. They really are amazing girls, and we could not be more Pennridge proud of them. We are deep in the heart of competition season for many of our clubs at the high school, but I would like to give you a brief update later on those situations. Let's congratulate these 3 young ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Radigan, and congratulations, girls, on all your hard work and job well done. Thank you. All right. The next part of our meeting is public comment. Before I open up the floor to public comment, I wanted to make a few remarks. I know that a lot of people are here tonight because they're concerned about their children's safety at school. And we know tragically on February 14th, There were 17 students and staff killed in Parkland, Florida. So before I make my comments and open to public comment, I just want to take a moment of silence for us to honor the students and staff who lost their lives. I know I've been reading the news articles. I've been following discussions on social media. I know a lot of people have questions and concerns, and I want to assure everyone that the school board and the administration and the staff here at Pennridge take the safety and security of all of our students very seriously. And we have been working for years to improve the security here at our schools. I just want to share some of the things, and these are improvements that have been done over years. We have secured vestibules at all schools, and these are in no particular order. There are staff trainings on harassment, suicide prevention, mandated reporter. There's Crisis Prevention Institute training has been provided to all special education classroom teachers, guidance counselors, and administrative staff. There's a high school hotline number to report school violence and concerns. There are students' assemblies and lessons about anti-bullying. There are bi-monthly meetings with the police chiefs in the area. We had an MG tactical conduct a safety audit. And through that safety audit, we implemented a lot of improvements. We purchased the Raptor system, which is the visitor monitoring system where everyone has their license scanned when they come in. We purchased new cameras, hundreds of cameras to be installed across the district and on all buses. We now have a better phone system that interfaces with the PA system for communication. The Social and Emotional Learning Initiative has been going on for years. Last year we began the ALICE program, which is a response to a different training rather than just sitting in the room, a response to an intruder. The district monitors all drills that are taking place to ensure that they're being done correctly. The district keeps documentation of all drills, which is then reported to PDE. The monthly drills consist of fire, Alice intruder active, Alice intruder inactive, shelter in place, lockdown, and severe weather. We have an upstander mentoring program with NOVA. There's the SWIBS, responsive classroom initiatives in the elementary schools. Last year, at the high school, we hired 2 crisis counselors. Middle school has advisory lessons that includes acceptance, tolerance, empathy. We have emotional support teachers who are available to students for mental health issues. Family Foundations Partnership. We have a mentor at the high school to assist students with behavior issues and to focus on positive social and emotional skill development. And we have Lakeside Behavioral Health for emotional support for students. So some of those are dealing with mental health and students' well-being. Some of those are dealing with just the safety of the buildings. And I know people want to know what else. So since the shooting, a lot of you know there's been increased police presence at the schools. I know that there have been increased number of threats across the country to schools since the shooting. The superintendent sent a letter to the community reminding people to remain vigilant, speak up as necessary. Building administrators and office staff were reminded to be vigilant regarding visitor protocols. The kids care staff have been invited to the next ALICE training. The district is planning to provide online training for bus drivers regarding student safety on buses. There are other steps that the district does not publicize so as not to compromise our efforts. and the district continually renews safety protocols and includes the local police departments and other emergency responders. I know there are a lot of questions, and people are invited to, during the public comment period to voice their concerns and questions. But because, as the school board, we can't answer everyone's questions, Dr. Radding and I have been talking, and we've set up a night that is going to be focused solely on security and safety, and that is going to be Wednesday, March 21st. And parents are going to be invited to, ahead of time, to ask questions and comments and submit their comments. So there's going to be an email sent out to everyone so that questions can be submitted ahead of time so that the district, so the administration can be prepared with answers so that you don't come with a question and say, well, we have to look into that. So saying all of that, I guess we will move into public comment. So the Pennridge School Board welcomes public comment. According to Policy 903, we remind everyone of the following. Public comment shall be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise specified by the board. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and note their name and municipality. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer rather than to individual board members, district employees, or members of the public. The speaker may speak once during each comment period. Please note that these sessions are designated for comments to protect the confidentiality and privacy rights of all members of our community. The board encourages members of the public to direct any comments regarding particular individuals, such as students or district employees, privately to the superintendent or other administrators or board members, or to communicate with the board and superintendent privately by sending an email to psdschoolboard@pennridge.org. Questions raised and not addressed may be followed up at a later time. And I will add, if people have questions, I will go through all the public comment. If there are questions that we can answer tonight, we will do that at the end of public comment. And things that we can't answer tonight, we can follow up with. So there was a sign-in sheet, so I'm going to start with that. The first person is Anne-Marie LaRiviere.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie LaRiviere.
Yeah, I'm sorry, if you could come up to the podium and then turn on the microphone, that would be great, thank you.
Oh, I don't think the
You have those on red light.
Press the red light.
Hello.
I didn't know I was. Okay.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie LaRiviere, here today, obviously, for some safety issues. I first speak as a parent and then as an employee of the Pennridge School District. My biggest concern right now is that I can walk into this building every morning. It is unlocked, and it is open from approximately 5:30 a.m., 6-something a.m., and anybody can walk into this building. I do not fob into this building. I park my car and I walk in along with all of the students in the drop-off line and employees that park where I park. I was on the safety committee at West Rock Hill for 2 years, and the comparison between the two buildings, which a high school that is at higher risk than an elementary school, they have support staff manning every door. The building is locked. It doesn't open until 8:20 a.m. when the students are allowed to come into the building. When that door unlocks at 8:20, there is an adult not only just inside letting the students in, but outside, manning the buses, manning the car rider doors. There is nothing like that at the back entrance where I come into the building. I cannot say about any other entrance in high school. I only park and come in that one door, but it is with the car line. It is with the drop-off students. I know that there are before school activities, as there are in elementary, early bird chorus, student council. That advisor of that club who calls the early bird agenda that day is at the door. letting them in because the door is locked. So they stay there until their entire group arrives, and then we go on to our student council meeting, or we go on to chorus, or what have you. There are athletes in this building, I don't know, 5:30, 6 a.m., tons of pre-study groups. I'm sure there's plenty of things that go on before the day starts here, but that building is open. It is unlocked, and anybody can walk in. And that is my concern tonight. To me, it is a simple fix. It is put a staff member, now at the elementary buildings, they use support staff, which I am a support staff. They take their support staff and they man the doors. I'm willing to watch that back door. I'm willing to stand there and make sure that only students are arriving and coming in through that door. And only employees that have their badges on. I was working the door at Guth Elementary when I worked there. This was years ago. I literally pushed that door open. Every single student, I pushed that door open. No one was allowed to hold the door and let anybody in behind them. It's so great at the elementary level, but it's so lacking here. And this is the building that's at a higher risk for anything tragic to happen. And that scares me. And I don't want to wait till March 23rd to get an answer. I want someone to say, you know what? Let's get a security guard at that door tomorrow morning. It can happen tomorrow morning. It is a simple fix. It's not going to make or break the budget. It's just get somebody to be at the doors. Get somebody to be out by the buses. Get somebody to be welcoming the kids in the car line. It's really not a lot to ask, and it's not a difficult thing, and I don't think it's costly. We have to do it. Is that it,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I went over my 3 minutes.
Thank you for your comments. Next person on the list is Sydney Geyer.
Good evening, Pennridge School Board. My name is Sydney Geyer, and I'm a freshman here at Pennridge High School and one of the founders of our Safe Schools Committee. Before I start, I would like to recognize some honorable people who have made this committee possible. They are Mrs. Destiny Beck, Ms. Leanna Goodrich, Gianna Spanka, Christian Beck, Austin Clotter, Jordan O'Brien, Alex Fulp, and myself. We believe that tragic school shootings around the country should not be happening. School safety should be spread throughout the country, including here at Pennridge School District. Here are some ways and some ideas that we have. We would like to have more security guards or police present each day. In fact, State Representative Rosemary Brown has proposed a bill just 5 days after the Parkland incident that will require presence at least one armed safety officer at all times during school hours and after-school activities. We also have discussed using metal detectors and/or detector wands to try to detect any possible weapons that someone might try to bring into our school. The building has 4 main access points in the morning where the doors are unlocked and some unmonitored for a certain amount of time. These entrances may include the natatorium door, the athletic entrance, the plaza, and the main entrance. We feel like all of these should be monitored while they are unlocked. Another point I would like to mention is that we have fire drills once a month, but we have Alice drills twice a year, and we only practice them during period 9. So we only know what to do, where to go, and what to fight back with in only one class period. We should be having them frequently and during other classes, and even during lunches. Speaking of Alice, each classroom should be equipped with go buckets that include materials that would help all of us in the event of an intruder, such as a hammer, rope, tennis balls, and first aid items. The last subject I would like to speak about is how to improve our social-emotional learning innovative to try to prevent something like this from ever occurring here in our district. Every student should feel connected and cared about. We have few ideas to promote this so far. One idea is to require students to join a meaningful club or pairing students with a buddy in another grade. The Safe Schools Committee is passionate about all these issues, and we will collaborate in any effort toward making Pennridge a safer and stronger school. Every student at Pennridge should feel safe, they should have a purpose, and they should feel that they have their own word. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, the next person on the list is Mrs. Herring.
Good evening, Diane Herring, Hilltown Township. I'm going to ask the Pennridge School Board tonight to please actively review the current security, in line with what the two previous people just said. Let me ask everyone something. We all just walked into this building tonight. Did anyone here get screened by the Raptor system as a visitor in this building? Did anyone at the board table have to show your ID to enter this building or the admin building? Did everyone walk in through the secure vestibule, or did some of you walk through the athletic entrance because that door is unlocked at this hour too? Think about that for a minute. Have you gone to a parent-teacher conference at an elementary school and just walked in? Gone to a concert in the middle school and just walked in any number of doors? Kids are in these buildings most hours in the afternoon, especially in high school. It's not just the mornings. What protects them? It's not really secure if the security system only works when someone is in the main office to scan you in. I am an approved district volunteer, and I assume that there are others here tonight. For 2 years now, I have asked this school board the same problem about getting school-issued ID badges for verified volunteers. Why? I brought this up 2 years ago, and I've repeatedly asked this board for it. Because in today's world, I want other parents to know and have a confidence level that I did everything I was required to. But more importantly, I want to know that the parent standing next to me did the same exact thing. And I don't have access to that information. I have to take them at face value. This is not a closed security loop, and right now it doesn't exist as one. Nobody should be able to just show up and chaperone or walk through a building. Not if you've done everything you were supposed to do. You should get a little magic code, and that card should be visible. Think about the little kids in elementary school with stranger danger. What's better than giving them someone that they can look at that has a purple card hanging around their neck on a field trip, that they know that that's a safe person? Your Raptor system has 2 other modules we don't use. One of them is for this. One of them is exactly for this. It goes beyond just the visitors. The system has 2 other modules. The first module is one that actually tracks volunteers and issues badges. The third module is an emergency management module. It links into everything you're talking about. It's visible. It's on their website. I did the reading. And I would ask you to do one other thing, please, when you're looking at your security and what you have in place today. Let's stop being unrealistic about what we do have and what we don't have and what we do use and what we don't use. We put cameras in school buses. That footage isn't viewed. That footage isn't saved. It's written over. We put cameras in these buildings. No one sits there and monitors it in a live environment. Why? What good is it if we're just going to use that footage for discipline? We spend all that money, over $1 million in cameras, and we don't use it as a security tool. Please rethink what you're doing and look at the details and ask the questions.
Thank you. All right, the next person on the list is Matt Heitzman.
All right, good evening, everyone. Matt Peitzman, Hilltown Township, also an employee here at the high school. First off, the other three comments I thought were really good and not what I was going to talk about tonight, but as an employee here and a parent in the district, it's obviously extremely scary as we talk about this stuff. I wanted to talk about something on a lighter note, if I can. So 2.5 years ago or so, Jim Rakowski, Alan Andrikaitis, and I made our first electric guitars, and we knew nothing about it or how to play guitars. And Alan, as head of the tech ed department, proposed it as a class. Fast forward to last week, we were featured in the Philadelphia Inquirer. To me, this is like a huge milestone and a huge Pennridge proud moment for us that the newspaper of our area came here because we're doing stuff no other district or high school is doing. Tremendous. Like, words can't describe how proud I was that that happened. But also why I wanted to bring it up tonight was I wanted to stand here and thank you all for your support of that program, of tech ed, of myself as a teacher, because without that, you did approve a lot of money getting invested into the tech ed department and that class. That wouldn't have been possible without your help, so thank you, and I sincerely mean that. I also want to, I know some of you have come down to my room, which is downstairs, kind of below the faculty room. I welcome you to come in anytime and see what we're doing with this program, because it really is incredible. It's a lot of hard work. It really is, for myself and the students, hours upon hours, but it's incredibly rewarding. And when you see the clientele that we've been able to bring in, it's just not traditional woodshop students. Females, males that haven't had tech ed here at the high school are there. Guitar players, non-guitar players. It's really incredible to sit there and see that. Also, thank you to Mr. Ferry, who contacted the Inquirer and has been supportive in publicizing this amazing thing that we're doing. So again, thank you. And also, please get in touch with me anytime about coming in to visit.
Thank you, Mr. Peitzman, and hopefully some board members will take you up on your invitation. That's all that I have on the sign-in sheet. Is there anyone else who would like to comment before the meeting starts? All right. Oh, yeah, come up to the podium.
What did you do? Just the face. I'm sorry.
The face. Okay, Nori Jacobson, Hilltown Township. Kids are in the district. I'm a teacher. I work in Central Bucks. We have a intercom system that I can access from my phone. I have a little card that I actually keep right here that allows me to dial a number and tell anybody where an intruder is at any time, no matter where I am. So I could be like, hi, it's Nori Jacobson, intruder in the first grade wing. Now everybody knows, so we know how to lock down. We know everyone in the third grade wing, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade can get out. It also goes right to the police department. And I can access this from inside the building and outside the building. So that's a really cool safety feature. I called Mrs. DeBona. I told her about it. The superintendent of Central Bucks is waiting for her call because he said he'll talk her through the whole thing with IT. Good point made about how we all walked in this tonight. Walked in, doors are still open. Someone could be in, hanging out, hiding till tomorrow. There's a Facebook page where everybody's making all these comments right now. I've been reading everything. And I did learn that there is that one door that is opened all the time where people can just come in. I dropped my kids off the other day, and hundreds of kids are walking in the building. Now, that's so awesome that Anne Marie is willing to stand there every day, but if somebody actively is coming in here to do something to our school, no offense, but what's Anne Marie going to do? What is she going to do? You know, I know that you have certain people assigned on Wednesday mornings, Tuesday mornings, Thursday mornings. DeBona said that there's always an adult there and they recognize all the faces. Well, that's great.
What am I going to do if I'm manning the door? I mean, really, what am I going to do if somebody's walking in? Most people are going to be way bigger than me, and I don't have a gun, and I'm a teacher, and I know they're telling us that, you know, we should bring it to school if we do have one, you know, but I'm not going to do that. You know, my students reach into my pocket and actually just take my cell phone out, so I'm certainly not going to carry a weapon. That's not happening. People say that kids need to feel safe. No, they don't need to feel safe. They need to be safe. They need to be safe tomorrow, like people here are saying. There needs to be a police officer. If that's all we can do, there needs to be a police officer who does have his weapon standing there at all 4 doors from the second they open until the second they close. And then if they want to go about the rest of their day, then goodbye, go about the rest of your day, come back later. People can't be just walking in here. This is a huge building. There's like 2,000 kids. Debona doesn't even know that there's 4 doors open because she told me there's only 3. And I talked to her twice in the same day about the same issues. 3 doors, but there's 4. So there's something your principal doesn't know and someone needs to tell her. March 21st is too late. I kept my son home from school because he was too afraid to come on Friday because of the threat. My daughter tells me, Mom, if something happens, I'm going to be worrying about him. No, don't worry about him. This is what I have to tell my kids. You get where you need to be. He'll get where he needs to be. I will find you both. Don't worry. This is not something any of us should be telling our kids. I know you're like, oh, tell your kids to be alert, be aware, watch what's happening. When I walk in my building every day, I do this behind me. I listen for the click, and then I go. I'm in an elementary school. We have 1 door that it doesn't even open. You have to swipe. I have my badge. If I forget my badge, I put on a visitor's one so that I'm identifiable throughout the day in my building. Yeah, we really don't do anything here. That's impressive. That's great that you're saying we've got these cameras. I have come to this building. My daughter is a senior. I have come to this building many a times, either to drop something off she forgot or to bring something he forgot or what. No one has ever even looked at my driver's license, so I do not know what you're talking about. No one has ever looked at my driver's license. And I have gone on several class trips. Now, I don't know if it's because they know I'm a teacher or what, but no one has ever asked me for my clearances. I've had them in my bag the day of the trip, and I have gone over to the teacher in charge, and I have said, do you want my clearances? There's 4 of them. You know, you got your fingerprints, your child abuse, your criminal check, the 3 of them. And they had told me, no, don't worry about it. It's a good thing it was me, because I wasn't going to hurt anybody, so what, they didn't take mine. But what if it wasn't me? That was at Central, and that was at the high school. So, yeah, we need to do something now. Not tomorrow, not March 21st, not next year. No, we need something done now. And if it's getting police officers here tomorrow morning to man 4 doors, not 3, then they need to be here from when they open, when the wrestlers arrive at like 5 a.m. until the doors shut and lock for the rest of the day. And then everybody else enters through the front. And that's it, period. And when we come for these meetings, there should be a police officer there. I was actually afraid to come in here. Those doors are opened right now. Do you know that someone's not hiding, ready to shoot up our school tomorrow? Do you know that? Do you have the answer? Do something. You're the board. Do something. Or everybody's going to just keep their kids at home, and we'll just cyber school them. And we won't need this building. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to comment? All right, I want to thank everyone for their comments. I think people had some, there were good suggestions, good points made, and I'm sure the administration will be reviewing some of the ideas, things that we can implement right away and reviewing that. and we will continue to review security issues and make improvements as we can. And I know everyone is concerned. I'm a teacher also in a nearby high school, and I don't know, I think it's some of the things that people said that as far as clearances, there's a list of volunteers that the district reviews. I believe the Raptor system is used when people want to come into the building, if people are dropping things off. I believe that then you don't need a license to come in. So I think there is a continual review, and there are always improvements that can be made, and the district, will be on it. And hopefully at that meeting on March 21st, we can give an update on more things that have been done and reviewed and answered questions. And I've been following the conversations on Facebook as well, and I think, if the people can answer certain questions and be clear, how many doors are open, how many is it, and give a clear answer and have all the people there to answer the questions. All right, we're going to move on to the agenda. There will be a public comment period at the end as well. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of the consent calendar. So do I have a motion? Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Kraus and seconded by Mrs. Miller. Yeah, just looking ahead. Okay, any comments or questions before we vote? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries 9-0. All right, next item on the agenda is the student liaison report, and we have two students here tonight, Ada McGinnis and Shay Gork.
Good evening, my name is Ada McGinnis. I'm with the high school student council. I have one thing to talk about tonight, and that is just how our winter ball went, which was about a few weeks ago. So it was, a lot of the students enjoyed it, it was a good time, and really we would just like to thank everyone in the student council, administration, and the community who helped with chaperoning the dance, and we couldn't have done it without all that continuous effort by all parties involved. And that's it on my end for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, Shay, did you want to say anything?
No.
No, okay. All right. Okay, thank you for coming. The next item is the president's report, and I don't have anything to add from what I said. Really just highlighting the initiatives that we've taken, and just really we will continue to monitor and look over things and make improvements that we can, things that we can do immediately, and then larger things, continue, consider them and see where we can go and how we can make improvements. All right, the next item is the superintendent's report. Dr. Radigan.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Yardley. First, I'd like to introduce the newest member of our administrative team, Dr. Sherry Wyorka. She is going to be our new Director of Pupil Services. Dr. Debbie Foote has been filling in, doing a great job. They're transitioning right now, and Dr. Wyorka will take over officially on Thursday. So I wanted to welcome her to the team, and again, thank Dr. Foote. I'd like to thank the Grass Elementary School for the district office meeting room display. Our Takes Pride theme for the month of March will be respect. Students will be reminded that respect means an attitude of regard or esteem for another. It can be a polite expression of admiration for another in word or deed. Respect is courteous regard for the feelings and opinions of others. People who demonstrate respect treat everyone the same, no matter their gender, race, religion, size, or age. We talked a lot about the safety measures, and we received actually some good news just the other day from an organization called niche.com. Niche is a website that helps people discover the schools and neighborhoods that are right for them. They rigorously analyze dozens of public data sets and millions of reviews to produce comprehensive rankings, report cards, and profiles for K-12 schools, colleges, and places to live. Every month, millions of families use Niche to research public and private K-12 schools. Safety ranking is based on student and parent ratings of health and safety, area crime rates, and rates for expulsion, suspension, and school-related arrest. In the area of safety, in Niche's latest rankings based on 2017 data, Pennridge ranks 3rd out of 13 districts in Bucks County, 21st out of 102 in the Philadelphia area, 43 out of 497 in Pennsylvania, and 370 out of 10,576 in the United States. So although we have very good rankings, I agree with Mrs. Yardley, we never can rest on our laurels, and we will continue every day to make sure that the schools and the campuses are as safe as they can be for all students and all staff. I have quite a few points of pride because our students do such wonderful things, so here we go. Future Business Leaders of America. 35 students attended the Regional Leadership Conference at Delaware Valley University in December, with 12 qualifying for the State Leadership Conference in Hershey in April. Congratulations to these state qualifiers in individual events. Alana Lee, 3rd place in Business Communication. Vincent Olindo, 3rd place in Introduction to Business Procedures. Lauren Harries, 2nd place in Public Speaking. Shay Groark, right over here, 2nd place in Introduction to Parliamentary Procedures. And Jocelyn Tripoli, 1st place in Introduction to Financial Math. In team events, we had Joe Moretta and Evan Yaglinski take 2nd place in Marketing, Cole Canastrasi, Conrad Fritsch, Anthony Marcantueno took 2nd place in Sports Management. Our digital video production team of Luke Pomper and Sam Asimo will also compete at states. There is no regional competition for their event. Technology Student Association. Our TSA chapter sent 9 students to compete in the 2018 regionals in Quakertown. The students competed against 11 other districts and came away with multiple ribbons and qualified in 6 of the 7 events in which they competed. 8 of the 9 students qualified to compete in the TSA state competition in April. The results are as follows. CO2 Dragster Design Event, 3rd place, Marshall Fowler. 7th place, Zach Lincoln. 8th place, Tim Sowers. Software Development Event, 2nd place, Andrew Berge and Chris McKinney. Structural Design and Engineering Event, 2nd place, Brandon Fye and Brandon Lindley. 3rd place, Chris McKinney and Vishal Taylor. 4th place, Marshall Fowler and Nick Alvarez. Technology Problem Solving Event, 7th place, Nick Alvarez and Brandon Lindley. Robotics Event, 1st place, Nick Alvarez, Marshall Fowler, Brandon Lindley, and Vishal Taylor. 4th place, Brandon Fye, Zach Lincoln, and Tim Sowers. Design, Build, and Test Event, 4th place, Vishal Taylor, Zach Lincoln, and Eric Marcanello. Skills USA, we had 3 students who attended the Upper Bucks Technical School qualify for states. Caitlin Fry in Baking and Pastry Arts, Zachary Fitzwater in Small Engine Technology, and Sarah Liebel in Construction Technology. Our debate team. The team finished the regular season with an overall record of 26-6, good for 1st place in the Lehigh Valley Interscholastic Debate Association. This year, the team researched and presented arguments for 2 different topics. Resolved, the Federal Communication Commission should reenact the Fairness Doctrine. And the other one, resolved, the United States government should privatize federal prisons. Coached by Ms. Lisa Mederick, the librarian at the high school, the group has 30 students, including 13 seniors. They will continue into the semi-final debate rounds beginning in early March. District Chorus, Stephen Kantrowitz, Eli Kenworthy, Pragun Badwa, Daniel Manieri, and Daniel Walker will represent Pennridge High School at the 2018 PMEA Region Chorus to be held March 1st to 3rd at Central Bucks High School South. The Region Choir is comprised of the best singers in Bucks, Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester counties. Governor STEM competition. The Rams original team of Julian Ortega, Zach Detweiler, Patrick Gannon, Sophia Goodson, and Ella Slater will represent Pennridge at the Governor STEM competition in May. On February 2nd, the team presented its project to judges at the Bucks IU, who told the team that it was the best presentation that they had ever seen in Bucks County. The quality and effort in engineering and presenting their devices, an acoustic guitar and electric guitar, were incredible, they said. The team now will decide on the selection process to donate the guitar. They will select a veteran in the Pennridge community who can benefit from music therapy to combat PTSD. By the way, our guitar building class was the subject, as you heard earlier from Mr. Peitzman, of an extensive article and photos in the Inquirer. So congratulations to the teachers and students who are bringing such positive recognition to the district. Rotary students, the Percy Rotary Club named David Schlatter in November and Bailey Rosado in December as its Students of the Month. David plans to attend college and pursue a career in e-commerce, while Bailey plans to study plant science at Penn State. The Art Show. 12 Pennridge High School students have had their artwork accepted for the 31st annual PSEA Touch the Future Art Show. This is the jury art competition that involves more than 350 entries from over 26 public high schools in Bucks and Montgomery counties. A reception and award ceremony took place yesterday at Arcadia University. The event is free and open to the public through March 15th during gallery hours. These are the students whose artwork will be on display. 12th graders, Katie Sachs, Ethan Gemzig, John Snyder, Mara Schwind, Calvin Esterline, Savannah Keller, Amanda Smith, Hunter Diddy, and Catherine Bollinger. 11th grader, Abigail Kim, 10th grader, Courtney McMillan, and 9th grader, Abigail McNavich. Cards to Florida. We are aware of the tragic shooting, of course, that took place in Florida recently. To help ease the suffering, students at all of our German classes at the high school made cards in both German and in English to send to the teachers and students in the World Language Department of Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. This was a wonderful SEL gesture demonstrating initiative, kindness, and empathy. I see Mrs. Goodrich is here tonight, so thank you to you and your students. Athletics. The boys basketball team will host Norristown tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the 5th round of the playoffs. The team will play in the state tournament on March 10th at a time and site to be determined. Congratulations to the wrestling team and Coach Norley on their second place team finish at the district championship this past weekend. The following wrestlers all qualified for the regional tournament next weekend: Jaden Bass, Michael Beljan, Evan Whiting, Logan Green, David Blanchard, and Josh Stillings, who was selected as Outstanding Wrestler of the tournament. Josh is only the second district outstanding wrestler in school history and the first ever 4-time District 1 champion. Our boys track and field team went to Penn State for the state indoor track and field championship meet. Over 350 schools had qualifiers for the meet. Pennridge had entries in 6 events. The top 8 in each event were medal winners. I am glad to report that the Rams earned medals in 5 of the 6 events entered. Anderson Diamond, Luke Eisler, Bobby Brashear, and Matt Eisler teamed up to finish second in the 4x800 relay and fourth in the 4x400. Matt Eisler finished 8th in the 800. Ryan Satilli was 8th in the triple jump, and Vinny Palagano was 5th in the high jump. Great work, guys. Congratulations to the boys and girls bowling team and Coach Detweiler on qualifying for the regional team tournament. Congratulations to the following bowlers on qualifying for the regional singles tournament: Zach Valentine, Jason Young, Peter Hersberger, Angela Kaufman, Melissa Wilms, and Liz Detweiler. Congratulations to Morgan Scott on breaking 2 pool records, the conference swim championships at North Penn. She won both the 50 and 500 freestyle. Congratulations to the cheerleaders and Coach Loeffler on winning the Suburban 1 League Large School Championship. We are proud of you. And congratulations to the girls basketball team and Coach Elton on an outstanding 11-win season. The team ended their season in the playoffs Friday, Jillian Anderson scored 19 and Sam Moretta had 12. Great job, ladies. So once again, Mrs. Yardley, our students continue to excel in many different ways.
That was quite an impressive list. Seems longer than many months. All right, moving on to committee reports. The first is activities. Mrs. Cullen.
Thank you, Mrs. Yardley. I'll be very quick. The Activities Committee met on January 3rd, and the next meeting is scheduled for March 7th. Did not meet in February.
Okay, thank you. The next committee report is curriculum. The curriculum committee met on February 5th, and there are several motions tonight. So the first motion is to approve the continuation of McGraw Hill math series. So I'll read the whole thing. So I move to approve the continuation of McGraw Hill math series to include Algebra 1 6-year time frame, and that is a cost of $56,331. I will add that these are program improvement proposals, and the board will approve them tonight, but of course they're contingent upon the budget being approved, the final budget being approved in June. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, moved by Mrs. Yardley, seconded by Dr. Yarnell. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries 9-0. The second item, all right, I move to approve the elementary IST implementation of Number World's math intervention program. I'm looking for this. That is a cost of $7,490. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Yardley, seconded by Dr. Yarnell. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. The next item is Canvas, and we are going to hold off on that until the next meeting because some board members requested to have a look at the Canvas system so they can have a be able to look at it and experience it.
Mrs. Yardley, if I can interrupt, is that 5 board directors that asked to be tabled?
I don't know.
Does it require that, Mr. Cox?
Could you turn your mic on, please?
No, it doesn't require that, although so at this point, any board member can make a motion to approve it, and if it's seconded, we'll go to a vote. There doesn't have to be a vote to table it at this point because the motion hasn't been made yet. But a member could if they wanted. And if it receives a second, we'll go to a vote. Ms. Miller.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't see, I received a request that we wait a month, and it just wait until the next month, so I didn't see an issue if people wanted to, like there's a, when we first had Canvas, I did, and I know Mrs. Banis-Clemens went on, like you can have the representative, go through and you can see the simulation of how it works. So I think there's some people who haven't experienced Canvas, who don't know much about it. So that's my thought. I'm fine with waiting until next month. I talked to Dr. Scheid, and she said it would not have any impact on...
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, and so the next one, we have a similar issue. I received a request that we wait because I know when Mr. Baberka was here, he said that, I don't know if it's one book or both books. I believe this is 2 books, right? So there's 2 books and one of them is not available yet. It hasn't been printed. So I received a request that we wait until next month. And I talked to Dr. Scheid today, and she said the book should be coming in this week, so that people could then review it and then we could vote on it at next month. And she said that would not impact the purchase of the book or having it in time for school, correct?
That is correct. We won't be purchasing it until after July 1 anyway, or at July 1, so that is fine. And it should be here this week. So any board member who wishes to preview it, that's fine, and I'll make sure that that happens. Actually, Mr. McGraw will be in touch with you. You're welcome.
Okay. All right, and then item F. So I move to approve 1 laptop cart per middle school and curriculum writing for the library proposal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Yardley and seconded by Mrs. Banis-Clemens. Oh, I didn't look up the Yeah, so, all right, and let me just, I'm going to add, so comments and questions. So the cost for this is, the 1 laptop cart per school is $10,575 for each cart, and the curriculum rating is $500. All right, any other comments, questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. All right, the next curriculum meeting is next week, Monday, I believe it's Monday, March 5th. All right, next committee report is facilities. Mrs. Banis-Clemens.
Thank you, Mrs. Yardley. The Facilities Committee met on February 8th, and the first motion is to obsolete items A through E.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, moved by Mrs. Banis-Clemens, seconded by Mrs. Dolan. Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Mrs. Banis-Clemens.
The next motion is to approve Away with Geese, and the total cost for that is $8,696.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, moved by Mrs. Banis-Clemens, seconded by Mr. Kraus. Any comments or questions?
I do. I would just like to express my, that I'm uncomfortable with this because, as Mr. Loeffler said, these lights stick up. They've been known to be run over by lawnmowers and other equipment, and I feel they can be damaged by people coming onto our grounds. I also am uncomfortable that there is no employee of the company on site, as with the previous proposal. There was a personnel on site with dogs, whatever, but there were people on site. And I equate that to if I had, luckily I don't, but if I had an insect infestation in my house, to me it would be the difference of bringing in an exterminator or putting up roach hotels. I feel more comfortable with employees being on site as opposed to putting these lights there that are set up to be damaged. So, thank you.
Yes, I have a comment. I think what Mr. Loeffler had shared was that sometimes when they remove them from the ground, when employees remove them to mow the lawn, sometimes they inadvertently didn't get put back, not that they were run over by lawnmowers, and just that sometimes when they removed them, they weren't always putting them back. But that they worked while they were there. This comes with a 180-day money-back guarantee, as opposed to paying dogs to come here and chase geese indefinitely and pay for egg addling, which came with no guarantee, and this is a permanent fix. So that's my comment.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries 8-1. Mrs. Banis-Clemens?
Okay, the third motion is to accept bids for the 2018 capital improvements projects. The first project is the Bedminster Elementary School partial roof replacement project for $352,000. The second project is for Guth Elementary School partial roof replacement, and that is $536,000. The third is Sellersville Elementary School paving and sidewalk replacement for $290,311. The fourth is for South Middle School paving replacement project, which is $317,935. And the Pennridge High School synthetic